Welcome to another episode of Serious Hilarious Podcast with Shonda and V.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, today we're going to be discussing unplanned parenthood and the parental experience.
Yeah, so I came across this post online, and that's where this topic came from because I was like, that's interesting. So I wanted to kind of read that to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So she says, at the end of our beautiful date, I told him I was pregnant. The handsome, kind gentleman I had been dating switched immediately upon hearing news he never intended to hear. He never spoke to me again. Spent 9 months pregnant by myself. I never wanted revenge, just a DNA test.
See, I feel like that's some foolery. And how you just, so out here having sex okay, let me get my words together. So if you are out here having sex, you should be understanding what comes with that.
Yes.
And there's a responsibility attached to that.
Yes.
And if you do not want any children, which is
Right.
okay. It's okay not to want any children.
Right.
But you should be taking precautions. Don't just expect the woman to take precautions or expect the man to take precautions. You need to take your own precautions.
Right. Both
and
parties
then,
need to be responsible.
Exactly. And then also understand that no birth control is 100%. So let's first say that, right? Understanding all of that as adult people out here in life living it.
Because if you ejaculate, you can impregnate.
Right. And even if, and my cousin just got pregnant and she had the birth control that was stuck all up in her arm.
Oh.
So, and she still got pregnant. And actually,
Did she sue?
No, you can't sue, girl, because they always say it's not 100%. And even a friend of mine on Instagram, she got pregnant. She said this baby was a birth control baby. She had an IUD and got pregnant. It's something inserted in her uterus, and she still got pregnant. So I said all that to say it was meant to be here, right? Those babies was meant to be here. So sometimes, I'm saying all that to say you have to understand that those are the risks you are taking as an adult people out here having sex with working organs. It just is what it is. Right now, so that is that. So the man had sex with the woman had sex with the man that she had got pregnant. He was like, I'm out, I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with you. Forget it. I don't want no children. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. That's your right. But now what about the child, right? That child didn't ask to be here.
Right. And so in the comments, there was a lot of, oh, you were responsible for, they were blaming her, basically. Right. And I can see that. But then I also realized that, because a lot of people was like, why you have that man's baby knowing that he didn't want to be a father? But think about it. If women really waited for a man to step up to be a father, we wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here.
No kids.
You're talking about depopulation. If everybody made responsible, rational decisions, then we would be no more.
Yeah. It would be a little different if people was like, oh, I'm not married and stable or financially stable or whatever the case may be. It wouldn't be a lot of kids because most kids come out of irresponsible situations
or lack of
resources. People don't have finances or whatever the case may be, because most people who are wealthy tend not to have a lot of children.
Right.
They have 1, 2, maybe 3.
Right. Because they think about it differently.
Right. They think about everything differently. Whereas, if you are lacking this, and then some people just tend to choose to be single parents because some people just want children, but then you also have to think about the impact on the child.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, we're all adults and adults out here having sexual intercourse, and someone gets pregnant, and whether the man or the woman, a woman might be like, I don't want it, your body, your choice. You decide to do whatever you're going to do, but now that's illegal now. So I guess you having a baby, but either way, but if the man doesn't want it, it's not his choice. to be like, you got to get an abortion, because he can't make the woman,
because it's her body.
Right, because it's her body, get an abortion. So now he's like, I'm stuck being a father when I don't want to be a father. But if you really didn't want to be a father, you should have got a vasectomy. You should at least try not to be a father. Though those aren't 100% either, because my brother got his now wife pregnant on a vasectomy. So, I mean, I'm just saying nothing's 100%. However, you should have tried, and you should have managed your ejaculate well. You should have been like, where did it go? It's not in this condom. And if you didn't have on a condom, that you sounded like you wanted to have a baby. Right. That's all I'm saying. Manage your sperm. This is your sperm. You need to and outside of all that, if you really didn't want kids, don't have sex. Girl. Just be like, I'm not going to be having sex because, oh my God, I could totally get women pregnant if I have sex because my sperm works. I'm young. I'm virile.
Mm-hmm. Right. So all of that, and, so I can't imagine being this pregnant person who was dating someone and now she's pregnant and the response that she got. And then now she's got to make this big decision on her own, Do I have this baby and embrace being a single parent? Or do I, in the pregnancy, post this, all this recent crap that we're going through. Do I end the pregnancy? And what if this is my only chance to be a mother? Because that happens too. Right. And then people are remorseful when they have abortions at some point. But so there's a lot to consider. It's a huge decision either way that you go.
Yes, it is. But I guess my question is, how long were they dating that she didn't know he didn't want children? Right. So I'm thinking they couldn't have been dating long, but then I'm also thinking, as a grown person, those conversations need to be your first conversations. Girl. Do you want kids? Do you have kids? How many kids? I mean, like all of those things. Like, right, marriage, kids, life, finances, like that needs to be like really in your first kind of like, what do you do for a living? Like, where is your home financial situation? What's your home situation? What's going on? Because you need to know those things before you get fully invested in this person, because you don't want to be 6, 7 months, 8 months, a year down the road, come to find out, oh, he lived with his baby mama, 4 kids, or both his baby mamas and 3 kids, and his mama and his granddaddy. Where y'all gonna live if y'all got together? You gonna move in with 10 people?
Yeah, but I mean, there's always a risk because he could be your husband and walk away.
He could be your husband and walk away, and y'all could be married. He could get pregnant, and even if whether he wanted kids or not, he could still be like, I don't want to be with you. Right. And that still changes how you may react to the pregnancy, and decide however you're going to be, and decide what kind of parent you're going to be too, because now you may end up parenting this child alone, whether you expect it to or not. Right. And even if you don't end up parenting alone, what type of co-parent are you going to be? Right. With a man who didn't want to be with you, or who didn't necessarily want this child, and you feel like society is forcing him to take care of it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of relationship instability when it comes to having an unplanned pregnancy on both sides. He may feel like he's not emotionally ready or financially ready. He may feel like she's being selfish in the decision. He may feel like he's not a part of the decision, like you said. And also, girl, go ahead, open that water, girl.
Girl, I'm trying to open it so bad. I'm thirsty. No, go ahead.
And also, on her end, because, like I said, now she has to make this decision, and that can affect her mental health. She can feel stressed from that, and so just some of the statistics that I found, it says that mothers experiencing unplanned pregnancies are more likely to display self-blame, negative feelings towards the baby, and higher perceptions of stress.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, and so unplanned pregnancies are linked to higher maternal depressive symptoms, both during and postpartum.
Oh yeah, I can believe that too, because you're worried about everything, like finances throughout the pregnancy and after. who's going to take care of the baby while you're at work.
Right. The fact that you got to rush back to work.
You got to, right, and you got to rush back, especially if you are taking care of this baby all by yourself and you don't have any support system. And you have to find a support system because nobody's doing it alone. Even if you don't have one, you have to find one. You have to build a support system so people can be picking babies up, dropping kids off, do this, do that. Everybody kind of helping each other out. And you kind of, I can just imagine. I mean, if I got pregnant right now, God bless, I cannot. But if I did, I would just cry. I feel like the whole 9 months, I'll be like, oh my God, why?
What am I going to do?
Why? Why have thou forsaken me? But I mean, I totally get it. It's a lot. And then when you're pregnant, from what I understand from all my friends who have all these children, you are very emotional. Your hormones is running ragged. You are emotional.
Girl, some of the things that baby do to your body, like, oh my God, it moves your organs.
Exactly. Your body is changing. You can't pee right. You can't sleep right. And now you got to worry about everything else. You got to worry about taking care of this whole new person.
The constant judgment.
Exactly. And then people may be judging you, one way or the other. Oh, she ain't got no man, this, that, and the other. But you don't know my life. You just better stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
And then, people do choose to be single parents.
Yeah, some people
by
choose.
choice. And,
some people just really want children, which is fine. And it is what it is, as long as you have a village. You know what I'm saying?
And the resources. So you mentioned village, and that's what I wanted to expand upon, is because I saw something online where the gentleman was saying we had these communities, and then as we progress as a society, we've gotten to now, instead of having that village, now we have to pay people to be a part of our village.
Yeah.
So you paying somebody to watch
you
your
pay
kids.
The nanny, you pay the child care people.
Somebody to cook for them. Now we have laundry services, cleaning services, and all of these things, where before you would have that in your household. Either your family was large enough or the resources were plentiful enough where the mother could stay home, or maybe a grandmother will live with the family, or the aunties was able to retire early, so you had babysitters, and you didn't have to have the daycare, which is a whole nother expense.
Exactly.
Girl, daycare is expensive.
It's $1,500 to $3,000 a child per month, depending on what kind of how fancy it is. Let me tell you, when my baby would be under my shirt at work,
and so I understand postpartum, because what?
That baby right with me learning whatever I do at work.
This is a keyboard.
This is a coworker. This y'all new coworker, because ain't no way I'm spending $30,000 a year just so somebody else can watch my child.
Girl,
that baby will be under my shirt.
Girl,
they're like, "You still pregnant?" Yep.
Oh, and speaking of that, some women have to hide their pregnancies in order not to be fired.
Yeah, depending on what company. On
what state too.
Depending on what state and company you is.
And all that.
Yeah, people feel like pregnancy is a disability, and they feel like, oh, you're gonna be off all this time, and then when you do come back, you're gonna have to leave because now you got kids. It's a lot. It's a lot to try and take on single parenthood, and then you got to think about, oh my God, what kind of parent am I gonna be? What kind of life is my child gonna have?
Because I'm never there.
Because I'm working. I'm a working parent, not just a single parent. I'm a single worker. Now, if you're just a single parent and you at home, that's maybe a different situation. But if you're a single working parent, now you're single. Nobody else is there with you, and you're working. So now you have to deal with that too, and you have to be able to navigate all of that time management in order to make sure that you can spend time with your child and rear them and raise them, and make sure that society is not the only influences that they have outside of the home. You want to make sure that they have a good home life balance, just like you have to have a good work life balance.
Right, but also think about the extracurriculars. Like, are you going to be able to have that real experience of parenthood? Like, will you ever be able to go to their football games if they get to play football, right? Because sometimes that's not in the budget.
Yeah. free. You better find you something free. FREE. My kids would be in stuff for free, like the library. Library, nice and free. You read books for free.
It is so many things you can do at the library.
You can read for free. I ain't never in my childhood paid to read. Now you can go buy books, yes.
But
you can read at the library.
Even like you can get tickets to other things, discounts with your library card. Like a library card is the move.
Man, you better find you some free stuff. They have free camps, for kids during the summer. And free, you have to be on it though, because that stuff fill up.
But then transportation, you at work, and then sometimes you go from one job to the next.
But that's why you need a village.
Yeah.
And you need support. You need a support system, even if it's just one person. Even if it's like, you have someone else in your life who maybe work different hours than you, that lives close to you, that can kind of help you out. Y'all can help each other out. And if you do have, even if you are a single parent and you're co-parenting, then you and the father can most definitely, get together and make it happen one way or the other, because if one can pick up, one can drop off, one, y'all can combine and he can pay for this, you can pay for that, and things like that, so that it won't be such a financial strain as well as a time strain on either one of you if everybody's involved. That may be a little bit different or unorthodox way to rear children, but that's how most kids are being raised these days.
But that's not this girl's situation.
Well,
he said, you on do not disturb, never ever call me again. I don't know you. I don't want to know you. So at this point, she needs to go get some child support.
She all by herself.
She needs to employ other people to be a part of her village. But yeah, so we've been talking more so about the mother's experience, right? But there is a father's experience, right? So I have an associate, right?
An associate.
Yeah, because girl, we went on a date and that was the end.
The absolute end.
Yes, okay. It was over, because when you date, you are gathering data,
right?
You know what I mean? And I knew immediately that he was not for me. No, ma'am, thank you. Okay. I wish you the best in all of your future endeavors, but they will not be with me.
Right.
So anyway, he was telling me that he was married to this lady, right? And they had a baby, and then the baby started crying, and he was like, "Oh no, hell no, I need both of y'all to leave," right? So right. So when they left, she went back to her mom and them. Well, her mom and them live out of state. So now he mad because she left and went too far. He like, but what about my baby? So he wanted to be a parent, but just not, he wanted to be a non-resident father.
Right, non-custodial parent.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
He didn't want to necessarily have to deal with the ins and outs and the days to days. He just wanted to be a weekend daddy.
Right. So that is a thing. They call it non-resident fatherhood, and that's where men report that they may not have the time or even the influence over children that are raised outside of their household. They might see them less often, and that was what his situation was.
But that was his situation that he chose.
Hey.
Because he said, I ain't going to be able to do it because but babies cry.
Girl, you better not cry.
They don't come out the womb talking like, hello, father. Hello, mother. I'm quite hungry and my diaper do need to be changed. Out the womb. Everybody be scared if the baby came out the womb just speaking perfect English. Oh, my God.
Girl, he said this on date 1. I was like, oh, so you crazy.
But at least you knew day 1 because
you know what? That's protection.
Girl,
there
divine
is
intervention
and redirection, right?
Because why would you, like, first of all, who in this world today don't know babies cry?
Girl.
I mean, that's their only form of communication for the most part until, they know how to speak some kind of words. Well, and usually their first word be like a no.
He said stop. That he worked all day and after 5, no tears. Okay, I'm here now. You should have cried earlier with your mama. Don't cry now.
Okay. Well, he is clueless about life.
So, and again, that's an example of where they were married, right? And then he changed the situation. He created that type of environment where his child didn't grow up. Because a lot of people believe that two-parent households are,
the most ideal situation.
But I want to say healthy
two-parent
households.
Right, healthy.
Like, you gonna have to have that on top. Like,
right.
Don't forget the icing on the cake.
Right, healthy. Because two people in a house who hate each other and who's
unhealthy.
Always yelling, arguing, all of that stuff affects that child. And that child gonna grow up probably not wanting to get married, or not wanting relationships, or not liking women, or not liking men, or not having the best relationship with their mother or the best relationship with their father, because of all of the tense energy that was in the house for 18 years. Even as a baby, I think a lot of people don't even realize that babies feel the emotional tense, and just because it's newborn, they don't understand. They understand, and babies and kids need tender loving. They need tenderness. They don't necessarily need hostility 99% of the time. That's just a little out of control. So, as you're right, healthy relationships. Right. If y'all are healthy enough to be good parents, and I think I would prefer if me and my husband could not, or did not, or want, whatever the case may be, we decided to separate, a divorce, I would hope that we could be friends and have a good co-parenting relationship. Because I am the type of person that I would never want to keep my child's father out of his life.
Right.
Like, regardless. Unless he was abusive or crazy and doing stuff to the child. Other than that,
right,
you can see your baby whenever you want, boo. You can come get him right now.
Right.
Like, whenever. I would never say you cannot come get this baby. As long as you make sure that child goes to school.
Right.
You can come you can keep him for the week.
Right.
It ain't even got to be your week. Right. It could be my week.
Right.
Come get him. Like, and unless I got something planned. But if we're talking, you already know I got something planned. And I already know you got something planned. You be like, oh, can I get them extra few days because we going out of town? Take them. And for these women who be like, oh my God, I'm not going to let him see his baby. Why? That's you messing up your vacation. You could be having relaxation days.
But see, right. But the key factor is healthy communication.
That
right?
part.
So healthy. And that's why unplanned is so dangerous, because it can lead in some cases to a healthy co-parenting situation. Maybe he, at first he was scared and he was like, he ran off, but maybe he thought about it and he was like, oh, well, let me make this work, because that does happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you never really know. Or even the child may not have the best relationship with the parent,
right,
while they're growing up, but they might have a great relationship with the parent when they're a teenager or young adult. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's a lot. Regardless of how you look at it.
Rearing children is a whole lot.
Right.
That's why I just be like, high fives to everybody who doing it.
And it's and that's why I feel like, we need people to be irresponsible with it, because when you overthink it like I do, when you may not ever feel like you're ready for it. Like,
I don't think anybody's ever really ready.
I know, but I mean, so it's always kind of reactionary.
Because you never really know what you're gonna get. Girl. Because you can end up with a disabled child. And you have to deal with all of the things that come with that. You can end up with an autistic child. Now you got to deal with all the things that come with that. You can end up with a child that, is
an ex-murderer.
An ex-murderer. That's true.
That happens.
You gotta deal with all the things that come with that. You can end up with somebody who's super smart. Now you gotta deal with all the things that come with that, because that is also something. Right. They're like, oh, I'm 3 years old. I'm in Mensa.
Right.
I didn't figure out the math prime problem of the world. And I'm ready to go to college at 5. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to deal with all of those things, navigating parenthood to a 5-year-old who already smarter than most 30-year-olds.
Right.
And trying to get them through school with adults. That's the whole thing.
I saw that this man was describing being gifted as another. He said disability. I'm thinking
it's an ability, but it's a different ability.
Right. And then he was talking about, I think he used disability because the
It's
way
the
you
challenges.
navigate
Yeah.
the world is just as challenging as
Yeah.
if you had, you know, a limiting ability,
Right.
right? Because now with you're gifted, but you're in a world with people who are not. Your boss may not be, so now you're limited
Right.
based off of other people's ability, or even like communicating with you,
Right.
or you know what I mean. So I can see
It's
that
a lot of adjustments you would have to make if everybody you speak to, you're smarter than every single
right.
person you speak to all the time. So now you're adjusting your vocabulary, you're adjusting how
Mhm.
they're understanding you. You have to adjust your words all the time.
Mhm.
It's a lot, you know. But like I said, that's like being
You may
parent.
limit yourself in that situation
You
too.
may.
Mhm.
You just never know what you're gonna get when you have a child. I mean, you can have a child with medical issues.
Mhm.
You know, you anything, and even when
You
you
could
do,
have the president of the United States.
you could. But even when you have a normal, regular, everyday type baby child situation, there's still things that could happen along the way
Yeah.
that gonna be putting bumps in the road. You be like, oh,
Girl.
this is how it's gonna go, and the plan is not planning because now it's like bump, 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 hatchet, 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 bump,
You
bump.
know, let me tell
So,
you this. So my brother has several children, right?
mm-hmm.
And when I get them, my anxiety shoots through the roof. And I didn't even realize that's what it was until the other day when my niece was like, "Yeah, we out of school for the summer. Can we stay a week with you?" A week? Hold on. I can't even really make it through 24 hours because I'm thinking about like, where can I take them? What am I going to feed them? What am I going to do to entertain them? You know what I mean? What does bedtime look like? What about, you know, nourishment? You know what I mean? They need to be challenged during the summer. Do I have any activity? You know what I mean? And my brother, he'd be like, they could just be at home.
Yeah.
Like, Virgo, what did you do? What do you do with them all day? He said, keep them alive. That's
pretty much. It's so funny because it's so true. Like most of the time, kids just be at home. Like when I was growing up, now I didn't have any parents, but so nobody was trying to engage me in anything. But I engaged myself. Like I went to summer school on purpose, and I would literally like teach other kids, like tutor basically, but just to have something to do, right? And then I went to the library. But now, you know, these kids, if your children are not engaged in sports and other extracurricular activities, people just be like, just be. As long as you be somewhere else and not getting on my nerve.
right.
A lot
But
of
then they
parents
get
are
exposed to too much.
yeah, because they be on the internet. That's what they be. They be on the internet. They be on social media, and they be in the world at home. They be in the world at home.
Right, which
And
is TEW much.
right, and so now you got kids doing way too much for TV, but a lot of parents just don't have the mental capacity after working all day
Right.
to come home and deal with children, especially if you have a whole bunch of kids, because
Girl.
now not only do you have to deal with a whole bunch of kids, but now you have to deal with different personalities and competing personalities, because it's always some one or two or three of those children who gonna feel like they're not getting as much love as the other ones. They like, now wait a minute, and everybody it's so you now you're dealing with people competing for your attention, and you already been at work all day dealing with adults competing for your attention.
Right.
Now you have to deal with your children competing for your attention, and so engaging your children throughout the summer with something to occupy their minds,
right,
is the most beneficial thing for everybody.
Right.
So,
she said everybody involved.
I don't know.
You need to run that energy out, sir.
Right.
And I that's, you know, and I know this is real shaky. Ooh. I'm just gonna tread softly as I say this. I really don't think that I'll say some of the kids who are medicated need the medication as much as they need some type of exercise, some type of activity to work the energy through their body.
Yeah,
but a lot. Instead, they'd be like, "Oh, give them this pill. Give them this pill."
A lot of times, kids just need structure, and they're not getting it, and they don't have any structure at home. And I think a lot of parents feel like they are providing it, but you know, as your child grows, now I'm saying all this with a grain of salt because I do not have any children,
Girl,
people,
same.
and but I do know. I've seen children.
Right.
I understand how it works. I used to be a child myself,
right?
But I will say that a lot of parents just find themselves doing it because they don't want to deal with the child.
Because
but
they're already overwhelmed.
They're already overwhelmed. But if you give your child structure, and in the way that they need to be structured, because every child is different.
Right.
And I think the problem is a lot of people put children into one box when you can't raise every single child in your household exactly the same. You can kind of have a base set of rules and things like that, but all children need something different. Right. Like me and my brother, we both lost our mother when we were young, and we're two totally different people. But people try to constrain us with the same rules, but again, we're two totally different people. Me, I'm a very just kind of do it myself kind of person. Like I will learn myself. Like I took myself to the library. I told myself. Nobody told me to read the books
as a little person.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was very determined and visioned and focused myself. Nobody had to do that for me. I structured myself. Whereas my brother, no one structured him, and he needed structure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, at least I feel that way. He may not feel that way, but I feel like because we didn't have a structured life, and life just got all discombobulated and crazy. But my life on the outside may have been very discombobulated, but on the inside in my mind, it was very structured. I already knew what I was going to do: A, B, C, D, college, high school, graduate, this, that, the other. So
you did all of that. Congrats.
Right. Thanks.
That's awesome.
And I think a lot of times kids, and I see it, I be trying to tell people, but nobody listen to people who don't got kids, but I be like, this child needs this. This child needs this. This child is not gonna be good at this. But if you really pay attention, I feel like, and I've been tell people this all the time, if you really pay attention to your children as they grow, like from birth to about 5, 6, you really know what type of parent you need to be for them.
Right.
For that specific child, because everybody's different. Like some kids just bad. Some kids is bad. Some kids is good. Some kids is just more and I ain't gonna say they bad kids, but they are more challenging children.
Yes,
okay,
challenging.
Whatever. We'll just use that word. But and the challenged children, you need to find a way to structure them in an appropriate manner so that they can be focused themselves and they can do because nobody in this world is born and be like, I'm just want to be disruptive.
Right. And
if you are going to be disruptive, you're going to be structurally disruptive. Like people be like, oh, I'm going to disrupt the CRE. That's like commercial real estate. People disrupt it with all kind of different, real estate stuff, like with the flex space that used to be taboo. Right now, it's like everywhere. Everybody got flex space. Right. Disrupting art, like doing different art stuff, that mixed media, this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. However you disrupt art, doing rare. Somebody sold an invisible statue to somebody for millions of dollars recently, a few months back.
Girl, I need to do that.
They convinced somebody that it was something there when it was nothing there. For millions of dollars. Wow. So he's disrupting the art world. Like if you can really, it's all about what somebody visualizes, right? If you can sell a vision, you're in there,
right?
You're in there like swimwear. So he sold a vision basically for millions of dollars. Right. Somebody bought it. So it's and you just have to because like I said, nobody is like really in the world trying to just be crazy. Right. But if you can structure them and set them up, for success, it's like setting people up for success.
I think you're basically saying meet them where they are.
Right. And help them find the right way to go. Right. But help them find the right way to go. Not the right way you think they should go. The right way that they want to
connect with.
Right. Exactly. And because everybody's not good at everything.
So something that you said a couple times is, I don't have any kids, but see, I feel that way too. I don't have any children, right? But I feel like our perspective is still valuable to the experience of both the parent and the child. Especially like for us, we're aunts, right? Proud rich aunties.
I'm an auntie. I'm a TT. I didn't want kids. They too costly.
Hey.
I saw that online.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, girl, that's all, girl. Hey, that could be a thing.
I'm an auntie.
For me.
I'm a TT. My brother sent that to me. This video. It was so funny. It was so cute. I was like, yes. I was like, and then I put in our little family group. I was like, I'm the best auntie, and my niece was like, yes.
You are. So. But what I'm saying is, you're close enough to both the child and the parent where you can give constructive criticism and feedback and increase awareness, right? Because you know that like you said, the one little baby, she responds differently than the other one. It's like for me, I have two nieces, and one of them, she is very rambunctious, right? As a child, she was, and we thought that, oh, okay, she probably gonna play sports, you know. Girl, now she done turned into a little diva. You know what I mean? So it happens, but like, so when I spend time with them, I'm just able to just kind of customize our interaction based on the child. And I know I also have the space,
right,
and the capacity to do that. But what I'm saying is, like, we're close enough where we can give valuable feedback, maybe something that the parents don't see themselves about their kids, or
right,
maybe something that the child was not feels comfortable telling you as an aunt,
right,
that they're not comfortable telling their parent because there's a consequence to telling their parent.
right.
You know what I mean? So I think that, we shouldn't discount our role.
Oh yeah, I don't think so either. I think aunties are like the best. I mean, I kind of wish I had more, well, one of my aunties died, mother, whatever. My family's different. But I kind of wish I had more um influence from my aunts and uncles growing up. I kind of really do, but the influences I had was not really all that great. Not really. It was, some of it was a little discombobulated. I'm not gonna get all into that because my life was a little different. But if you could be a positive force in your nieces and nephews' life, even if it's a little bit, even if all you can do is give the best advice, because everything doesn't have to be money. If you could just give the best advice, because you have lived, know. So you know something that they don't know. So if you can just make their life a little bit easier or a little bit smoother, transitioning from teen to adulthood, a little bit easier, you've done your job. Because parents are kind of focused, like you said, on keeping the kids alive, right? Like, I got you, you graduated, you alive, that's all I got. You know what I'm saying? That so and that's why they say it takes a village. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It takes yes, your mother and father may raise you, but everybody is pouring into you. Your teachers, your coaches, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, anybody who is positively influencing your way, your path along. So it's not just mother and father. And any mother and father who think that they're doing it by themselves is delusional. Because if those kids didn't have positive teachers, they would be different people, even if you were good parents. If they didn't have positive coaches, they would be different people, even if you were good parents. You know what I'm saying? Because just like those people who be like, oh, the priest got me. You may be good parents, but now they had a negative person in their village who they thought was not. You know what I'm saying? Now they're having a whole different experience. Right. Which may also lead to drugs and everything else, because now they've been abused and this and the other, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't matter. The whole village needs to, usually comes together in one shape, form, or fashion. And it doesn't have to be a continuous thing. It's usually very sporadic. It's usually on and off and in and out. Most people be like, oh, my favorite teacher was my fourth grade teacher or my high school teacher. It's never all your teachers. All your teachers
my favorite teacher was my science teacher in 6th grade. And one thing I was going to tell you is that it doesn't always have to be positive, right? Because you learn what to do or what not to do. Right? Because some people will show you, oh, child, I don't want that over there.
And don't do that.
Right. And that's half the battle.
Yeah, exactly. So even though my family life growing up was very discombobulated, a lot of people in my family, even though my village was real not villagey, they taught me a lot of what not to do or what I didn't want out of life. So I already knew I'm not going to do whatever you did. I ain't doing it. Whatever you didn't do, I ain't doing it. I'm going to do something else. You know what I'm saying? So it helps you look and find other avenues and other paths, because you're like, that's all right.
Yeah, but even those distant ones, like when I think about my distant relatives that they didn't necessarily come to every event, they still were influential. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's sporadic.
They might have like great careers. You like, hey, they be on trips all the time. That's why they not here, because they on a yacht.
Right. They living their absolute best life. You know what I'm saying?
I need to be lower like that. What school did they go to?
Right. Like, let me call her. Let me call her and see what she doing with her life. But yeah, it's true. Like, you have your your rich cousins and your rich uncles, and you're like, well, what did y'all do? You're like, oh, we went to college. We got these degrees. We did this. We did that, and we successful. We live on our own. Things like that. And that's what you do, and that's the path you take. Or whatever the case, even if you be like, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I did this, I did that. So you may influence the young children in your family to be entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? It's all like, it's a very sporadic, it's a constantly sporadic influence throughout the years, because it's a lot of years. You're not gonna see everybody every day. The only people you probably see every day is your parents, and they really just trying to keep you alive 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So, because it's not every day your parents are sitting you down giving you gems. That doesn't happen every single day. But
and I need to tell my brothers more often that I appreciate them for doing hard things like rearing children, because I didn't have to. I you know what I mean? Because my family does not lack any children. You know what I mean? So I don't ever have no aunties or them great when you gonna have a baby. That does not happen to me, because look at that. They lined up ready for a plate. You already got enough people plate to fix, ma'am. Yep. You are not looking for mine. You know what I mean? And so that day-to-day, constant, all-day child rearing, I cannot imagine me doing. You know what I mean? I like to wake up slow mornings, hearing the birds chirping.
Oh, my God. You are so crazy.
I love that. What? Meditation? My brother said, what is meditation? Sir, your life is too chaotic. But he loves his chaotic life.
I mean, some people thrive in it. Some people thrive in chaos and drama. I could probably see myself I keep telling my niece, I'm gonna steal her children. My great nieces, I'm just gonna take them. I really feel like, well, at least the youngest one. I feel like I could just take it. I could see myself kind of being in a motherhood state. Mm-hmm. However, I already know that I would be raising the child to be very independent early on. Right. Like, not that I wouldn't be there per se, but I need you to be able to do certain stuff without me. Like, get up, get dressed, brush your teeth. If you need to make yourself a sandwich, you could do that. Like, even at 4 or 5, and I know a lot of people probably like, oh my God, 4 or 5, but when we were 4 or 5, we was making our own peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, we was doing a lot of stuff. And even though my mom was still alive, she still gave us what they call it, the autonomy, whatever the word is.
Autonomy.
To do those things for ourselves, so that we could feed ourselves when she was tired. Because she was sick. She was sick when I was young. Aww. So we could do the things that we need to do for us. So if she'd be like, go brush your teeth, go get in the tub, whatever, we already knew what we needed to do. Girl, we knew how to wash the tub out. Like, we already knew what we needed to do at a young age. So that's what I mean. Like, I would rather that the children were very independent and self-sufficient. Not that I'm not gonna be there, but if I'm tired, or if I slip and fall on the floor, I need you to know how to call 911 at 4 and 5 years old, and not just let me bleed out. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of kids these days don't know that. They looking at the phone like, or they get on 911 and don't know what to say. Right. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you just have to know how to be able to do a lot of things. So I would be that parent. I would be the type of parent who'd be like, all right, let's teach y'all all the fundamentals right now. That's the first thing we're going to learn.
Well, that builds confidence.
Yes. It'd be like, all right, you know how to use a knife. And not that I'm going to be giving them butcher knives, but they can get a little butter knife and make a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? They know where the utensils are. They what do and know not to do. We never, like, we was never one of them kids that would be like, oh, we finna go play in some bleach. First of all, who playing in bleach? Like, people like, oh, you gotta watch the kids so they won't drink that. Why am I? They don't even like a toy.
Well, like, but that's the difference, right? Because some people talk at their kids, and then some people, they speak to their kids, and they help them understand the reasoning, and common sense is not common, especially if it's uncommon in your everyday conversation, right? So just today, I was watching these kids. I was sitting, relaxing, listening, sitting in my garden. Yes, because I can do that. Mm-hmm. And and my neighbor's kids were out playing. So the little boy, he throws her flip flop into the street, and so the dad came out the house and he said, "Okay, let's stop." And he was like, "Now think about what could have happened. You threw her flip flop in the street. If she would have run out to get that flip flop and didn't look to see if cars were there, she could have got hurt." And I just love that because he didn't come out and say, you know what I mean? He addressed it. He said it in a calm manner so it could be received and understood. You know what I mean? And I think that that's important. And I think that it's important that, like, your parenting style would have been great. And, you know, if and when you are able to do that. But
if whenever I decide to steal my niece's sure.
But let me tell you what stops me. I like a nice 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
You can totally
uninterrupted. Them babies be sick in the middle of the night. They be crying. Girl, I might be like the dude and be like, can y'all live over there down the street but not too far?
Right, but see, and that's going back to like we were talking. I know we kind of got way off subject, but like the man saying, "No, I don't want to do it." But it's not that you don't want to do it. It's that you're not mentally ready to do it. You're not mentally ready to take on all of the responsibilities that may come with it. Right. The baby crying and getting sick and
the mother being different. She's going to be different. She's no longer a girlfriend. She's a whole mother now.
Right. I mean, she's no longer a wife. She's a mother now. You know what I'm saying? Your relationship is going to change. The dynamics of those relationships are going to change. And if you're coming into... if you're married, especially if you're married and you're coming into fatherhood, you should really understand it or have explored that with other fathers you know. You know what I'm saying? Other husbands you know, other people you know who went from singlehood to fatherhood. Because if you have not, you just set yourself back. Right. I mean, why would you give yourself a disadvantage like that? Like if I was pregnant, I'm calling everybody I know who had a baby. Girl, why you ain't tell me sex got me pregnant? Because I wouldn't have been like, whatever.
Why didn't you tell you sex got you pregnant?
Girl, I'm just saying.
First of all.
Right, girl. Because I'm like, how I get pregnant? But, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just joking. I know how to get pregnant. But I'm just saying, it's like, you call people you know who's had babies. Right. Like, oh, did you experience this? Oh my God, right. I'm this. And you get advice. You know what I'm saying? You call mothers. You know, if you don't have a mother, you'll find a mother. Right. Somebody who's been a mother. You know what I'm saying? And you start to make your village. You don't start making your village after the baby comes. No. You start making your village really before you get pregnant. Right. But for sure, if you don't have one before you get pregnant, as soon as you find out you're pregnant, you need to start making your village. So that when the baby comes, you have some support. Because what if something happens and they put you on bed rest? Who's going to take care of the baby? Right. And you're a single parent. Whether you're a mother or a father. Because what if you're a single, what if your wife had the baby and God forbid, but she died. Right. She died in childbirth. But now, okay, you take your baby home. You're like, okay, I'm going to be a single dad. I'm in it to win it. But now you break your leg. Right. So you still need a support system too, because who's going to take care of that baby while you're on bed rest or you need help? You need physical help to get up and do things. You can't hop around the house with a newborn baby. No. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs
that baby a little neck assistance. Is not strong enough.
It's not strong enough. It's not strong enough for you to be hopping around the house with it. And then you may fall. And you can't risk yourself falling. Right. With a newborn baby and your leg is broke, you know what I'm saying? Or anything could happen. So you need a support system. So you could be like, oh my God, okay, mom, dad, cousin, uncle, friend, whoever, can you come stay here while for the next however many weeks till my leg is, I can walk again or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What if you break your arms? Or I mean, I'm saying all this, catastrophic injury stuff, but I'm just saying those are the type of things that totally could happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? That one guy, on the news, you know, he was doing fine. And then all of a sudden, and I don't know if he was a single father or not, but let's just say he was a single father of twin 18-month-old girls. And he ran in the house and saved them from a fire and got burnt up himself. So now he's in the hospital.
Right.
So who's watching his babies?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He has to have a village. Now, I don't know if he was a single father, but I'm just proposing that he was not. You know, but he needs a village. You know what I'm saying? So but you know, you have to just, I feel like you just need to set yourself up for what's coming. Because you know, like, it's not like
you can.
As much as you can. Because you can't prepare for everything. But it's not like you had sex, you get pregnant, the baby here 5 seconds later. It's not like it's that quick. Because if it was that quick, crap.
Right.
It'd be a whole bunch more kids in this world.
Girl, that's like, I don't know what them people be talking about. They be like, I didn't know I was pregnant. You seen that? I was like,
people be giving birth.
She said,
giving birth times I didn't know I was pregnant.
And the baby came out, ma'am.
You didn't feel nothing moving around?
Right. First of all, your tolerance for pain is amazing because let me get a hangnail. Okay? I'm calling my mama. Girl.
I used to watch those shows. And I used to just be like, I can understand if you didn't know you were pregnant the first few months. But I don't know how you get to birth. And be like, do you be in a hospital? Oh, my stomach hurts so bad. And then they be like, ma'am, you're pregnant. What? I didn't know I was pregnant. Like, how you not know you was pregnant and you're 9 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant. Like, that baby's not moving at all. You just thought all that was indigestion.
Girl, it was gas.
Like, you didn't think nothing was wrong that every time you sneeze, you peed a little? Like, because the baby pressed on your bladder?
Every time you sneeze, you pee a little?
Sometimes. Some people, when they pregnant, because the baby pressing on their bladder, because the baby is, you know,
girl,
squishing all their
organs.
All your organs getting squished up.
No.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how you not know. Because even if you didn't know you were pregnant, quote unquote, you should have known something was happening.
Something is wrong.
Like, something's happening. You should be like, wait a minute. I mean, even if you didn't get fat, or, well, I'm not going to say get fat, but gain weight, or your stomach didn't get, you know, in a roundish shape, whatever. Even if none of that happened, you didn't feel no different since conception. That just seems weird.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe
I know I have seen girls who, would they say that she carried in her booty, you know. But then I've also seen, like, where the baby's handprint is coming through the stomach almost.
Yeah,
like,
you
that baby kick you
and
it change your whole shape. I be like, oh, my God.
The head, the back is an alien.
Now.
It's
like, y'all
alien.
just don't understand. My pain tolerance is very, very, very low.
Girl, I couldn't even have did it. Girl, I probably would have known the moment of conception.
Yes, girl.
I was like, oh, I'm pregnant right now. That man been looking at me like I was shit. You ain't crazy. How you know? I'm pregnant right now. I know.
Right. I can feel when I ovulate for real.
Like,
it's pain.
Look, it implanted. I feel it implanted.
Girl.
Look, I've been at the doctor. They be like,
I am in tune.
Girl, it would have been hilarious, girl. Hilarious. They would have just been like, I know you lying. But it's just true. It's just, I just don't understand how you just, I guess, you know, everybody, men and women, ignore things that's going on. I'm like, oh, it's just a little pain. It's just a little. But I'm only gonna ignore something for so long, because after like the 4th, 5th, 6th time, I'm like, now why that still be? That ain't right. I'm going to the doctor. Like, we need to get an ultrasound or something. Like, something need to happen. Like, because why is it always hurting right here? Right here, every morning is only her right here. That's probably morning sickness. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Or why is this leg only doing this one thing every time? Then something might be wrong with your leg. Something might be wrong. You know, you can't ignore all the symptoms of life. Now, come on now, because let's get it together, people. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that you just went 9 months and didn't know. But you know, I ain't never been pregnant, so what do I know? I don't know. But from what I understand, a pregnancy, and from all my friends have told me, you gonna find out.
Yeah.
You gonna find out.
I mean, I don't know, because like you said, I've never been in that situation, and it sounds horrible. People enjoy it because they do it more than once. So
girl,
clearly,
some people got a whole lot of kids. Woo! Kiki, why got like 10 kids or something? Girl, I don't know how many kids she got. A lot of women like being pregnant. A lot of women like motherhood, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, by all means, do you, boo? I ain't even mad.
Like I said, if my mama didn't choose single parenthood, I would not be here. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, me either. Honestly,
thank you, mama. But
I wouldn't even be mad if she came back right now and changed her mind, because girl, I won't have to pay no bills. What?
You could have left me a thought, a glimmer in my father's eye.
Man, I could have just been an egg in the ovary, chilling like a villain.
Oh, so I saw a thing where the girl said, she said, if you reincarnate, what do you want to come back as? This lady said air, and I was like, that's it.
I don't even want to be air. Air got a job. It got the below. It got to do stuff, girl. I don't want to do nothing.
Girl, you don't have to do nothing. You just gotta exist.
I don't want to even. I don't want to be a glimmer in a star's eye. Okay, I do not want to be any. If there is a reincarnation, reincarnate me as the dot in the reincarnate, like in the eye in the reincarnate. Like, I don't even want to be that. Okay, I just want to be, girl, like,
let me be a wave.
Let me be mist in space that dissipates the second it's created.
Or if I reincarnate, let me be on a planet that they vacation all the time, not this planet.
Girl,
I don't want to come back to this.
You hear what I said? Mist in space that dissipates the moment at the moment of creation. It disappears. Because why? I know if I do come back, I don't want to have to do all this bill paying stuff.
Girl,
and because this right here, that ain't it. It ain't it. And bills and struggling and life be lifing too much, and not just bills, not just money. I'm not talking about financial struggles, but life in general. Like, why can't things just be, regular hard, not extra hard? They just extra hard all the time. Like, why can't it just be regular, just regular, degular? But no. They be like, oh, we gonna give you 5, 6, 7 problems today, and then we gonna give you 20 more tomorrow, and you need to figure it all out by Wednesday, because on Thursday you getting 50. You be like, no, wait a minute.
That's why I feel like if you live on planet Earth, this is the boss level. You done went through a whole lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now you at the boss level. You can make it through this. You done struggling. Girl. You should just be able to just be a thought.
That's why when babies born, they be crying, because they're like, I'm back again. What the frick?
Yep.
I do not want to come back. That's why they say. So I saw this thing. I don't know if I was watching a movie or something, but they were saying, like, if we are reincarnated or whatever, and they say when you die, go towards the light. They're like, no, don't go towards the light, because that's the birth canal. This right at the end of the birth canal.
I'm just gonna stand still.
Like, just don't even just stay out. Just we looking at everybody else go towards the light, like, y'all go ahead. You can get in front of me.
Right.
Get in front of me.
Right. Yell back and tell me what you see.
Right. just go ahead. Go on out there. Let me find out later, because and that's what they say. So that's what don't go towards the light. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. But no. I don't think I want to be. I don't want to have to come back, honestly. I don't even necessarily think I would want to come back. I mean, if I did come back, I would rather be rich. But even then, you still a human. You still have to deal with the human condition. You still have to deal with all those issues. And I just don't know if I got the mental capacity to be dealing with that, even though I'll be a whole new person. But even like now in this life, in this existence, I feel like I've been here before. Yeah. So
that's just why I said this is the boss level. Like, we done did the hard things. That's why God was like, you don't need to go through labor and delivery. And I was like, thank you. See, I know you love me.
Girl, I feel like I've done this before way too many times, and I'm kind of over it. So if I could choose, I would be like, no, thank you. But I feel like at the end, somebody's probably like, if you go back, you can get this. And then you like, what? And then they trick you. And then you get connived and schemed into going back. And then you right back there and you be like, this ain't what I wanted. And then you got to go through the life and live the human condition and do all this stuff all over again. And it's a whole lot of rigmarole. And each world obviously is different, because living in 1600 is way different than living in 2025. You know.
First of all, I wouldn't even made it. I'm gonna tell you, because if you know how they be talking about, oh, it's an apocalypse. No, I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna prepare. I'll be preparing my family now. Like, y'all go ahead and live your best life, okay? Because if this is the best that it get, I'm not fighting to stay. Like, it's been real, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I just wouldn't fight that hard. Like, I'm gonna stay in the house, and when all the food in the house,
girl, what's that food go? Girl, you know what? I'm gonna be like the people on Titanic. Remember how they just laid in the bed?
I mean, because at some point, what you gonna do? Because if people outside acting crazy with rifles and guns, pillaging and attacking people, and then even outside of that, you also have to deal with whatever the apocalyptic situation is, because it may be just a regular normal apocalypse, but then what if it's a zombie apocalypse or some other kind of foolery? You know, now you gotta fight stuff and fight people, and I'm just like, and I'm not fighting over a can of corn. You can have it. I got drugs in my house. I can go to sleep and never wake up.
Corn like that,
girl. That's why I keep a pharmacy at the crib.
You are hilarious. How did we get way over here?
I don't know, but I can go to sleep and not wake up because I don't need the corn that bad, bro. And I don't even eat corn like that unless it's just some black bean and corn salsa. I don't even buy corn. I don't be eating corn, so I'm fighting you over a can of corn that I really don't even really want.
Right.
You got it. Right. I'm good, but yes, yeah, we way off topic, but it's okay. It's okay.
But anyway, life be lifing.
It's way too much.
And I don't know what that lady's gonna do on that post that I read.
Yeah, I don't know what she gonna do.
I wish her the best.
She gonna be a single parent and she gonna raise the baby the best of her abilities. I assume so.
I wish her the best.
And the daddy gonna be paying whatever child support he gotta pay. And
that's if she got that DNA test.
If she did, and he gonna be an absentee father. Or maybe he'll come to some realization at some point, like, oh crap, that's my child, and he'll go be in the child's life. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would hope that he would do what's best. I mean, it is better, but it's only better for a child to have two parents if the two parents are healthy,
right,
mentally,
right.
Because you don't want crazy in your life just for the sake of having crazy. Right. There, like now you crazy, now you dealing with stuff all the time, mm-hmm. So. It's different. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, it's just one of those topics where we just gotta hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Mm-hmm. And for all the mothers, you know, and single mothers, you know, and single fathers, you know, y'all out here doing it. Do it. Yes. Do it, and do it well, and do it as best you can because you're doing it by yourself.
And we appreciate y'all for keeping the population populated.
Right, and you know, make sure you just get you a village. Just get you a nice little village, and just make it happen.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to say before we?
No, I think I'm good. I mean, if y'all good, you know, y'all feel free to like, share, subscribe.
And comment. Let us know how you feel about this.
Right, you know, exactly.
What's your opinions? What is your experience? What do you think she should do?
Right. Give us some feedback. And what do you think about the whole idea of single parenting? Just in today, in 2025. Single parenting in 2025. The state of things.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, y'all, it's been real.
Bye. Have a good one.